Um, Let me welcome everyone to today's review of our book. Today's book is not a book as such, it's a documentary. It's called I'm Not Your Guru. It's a documentary on Tony Robbins, one of his workshops, A Day with Destiny. And today's presenter would be Charlie. Now, as we go into the presentation, the rules are simple. 15 minutes is accorded to the presenter. After the presenter, it would be 3 to 5 minutes for each participant to either ask questions or contribute to the discussion. And you know that we are contracted to 1 hour. The time now is 9:06, and we should close by 10 o'clock tonight. So, without further ado, over to you, Charlie.
Yes, thank you very much, George, for the introduction. And good evening, everybody. Yes, as George said, this is not a book that we have read, but it is a documentary that we watched. And thanks to Craig Arun, he got us the link. And people who have also option or who has their account on Netflix could easily watch this very, passionate documentary. Yeah, Tony Robbins is an author. He's a philanthropist, but his main activity is that he is a life and business strategist. People call him psychologist, but he said no. He just helped people resolve life situations. And he happened to befriend with to make friend with this guy called Joe Bellinger, who happened to assist this event called Date with Destiny, and he offered him to present it in the form of documentary, that it is so moving that he would like to share it in a different way with the larger audience. And I am not sure if other people have ever been to Tony Robbins events. I happen to participate in one, and I reassure you that if there is any opportunity that anyone could have the experience, the person should not hesitate. It is worth every penny of it. So the documentary, as you could see, is very brilliant, and it is called Date of Destiny. And what happened with this documentary, there are two things. Joe Wellinger tried to showcase of Tony Robbins' event, how purposeful the events are and how convincing, brilliant they are. And at the same time, he showed the back, stage, how things are organized behind the scene, and what all goes together to make this event happen. And that is what the documentary is about. Now, the overview of the documentary, take us behind the scene. As I said, this event is a 6 day event called Date with Destiny. And it helped the participants to go back to their essence. If you have any issue, you can take advantage of this kind of event and get them resolved. And he brings all sorts of people, the event gathers all sorts of people who are there with business, issues that they would like to break through, people who are there with life event that they would like to break through. And at this particular event that happened in 2016, over 2,500 people were at the event as participants. And the film captured how unfiltered, raw, interventions of Tony Robbins while trying to resolve issues that participants have, put forward. He picked people at random and then focus on whatever issue they have and try to resolve it. And issues like, as we said, life and business, in this case, focus on, people who are confronting with trauma, finding purpose for their life or pushing through certain limits, and pass those limits in life. Okay. Then I will touch key terms that he used in this event. For example, he tried to show how when this reminded me of certain tradition that we have in Africa, where when people have to do things, they have to be chanting, repeating the same thing, putting people into group, and then getting some idea through by repeating, by saying the thing, then yelling, throwing it out. But when you are in a group and everyone is doing the same thing, there's some kind of breakthrough. The ritual that is used in a share in a group help to break through by gathering all the energy of the group rather than doing it being individual. And there are personal breakthrough too, like help healing past through trauma, or reclaiming certain purpose that you have in life. And due to certain circumstances, you may have certain roadblock, and you can push through the roadblock through the kind of a help that you receive at this kind of events, and then it helps you break through whatever barrier you could have. Now, radical emotional honesty, that is one of his a way or method of handling this kind of events. He is raw, and you can see some kind of honesty in the way he's handling the situation. It is direct. He uses a lot of profanity, and sometimes it shocks people. And then but through this kind of directness, humor and passion, he can touch people. And this lady, for example, she was dealing with this mixed, situation where she was brought up through the father influence of being a very tough person. She has that, man character, and then facing another man who has similar character, too tough. She couldn't make it the match, but that was the actual man for her. She moved to a different partner who happened to be, the opposite, who has the opposite character, then talks, expresses himself, and then, unfortunately, she happened not to be satisfied, but just stayed in the relationship, looking at all the good parts. She wasn't, even though it wasn't what she really want to do with her life, she was just coping with it. And through this situation, Tony using certain direct, a humor, but shocking words, motherfucker, get the fuck out of here, make a call. She broke through that situation that she was in, made a call in front of 2,500 people, and then broke up with a relationship that she should, under normal circumstance, shouldn't have been in, but was just trying to, not knowing how to do. So it shows how you could, move past certain limits that if you were just by yourself, you wouldn't do. Okay. Now, he uses one thing in most of his books. I read 3 or 4 of his books. If anyone has a chance with it, they are must read books. Okay, the willpower and over circumstances. He said that with pure willpower, willpower can carry you through almost any situation. But you have to, this is the key. You have to have a purpose-driven life. And having a purpose-driven life means that what are you really here to be, to give, or to do? When you are able to define your life with purpose and let that purpose drive you, that will carry you through everything. And as we said that when the heart, the why is strong enough, the how will always follow. Or when the pain, the meaning of a pain, how to endure it can never be over you. So that being said, some of the notable moments of this documentary, I capture some of them. One, a young lady shared some past abuse. She's been part of certain, congregation called something Jesus or True Love of Jesus. I don't remember the name. And from the age of 6, they start abusing sexually those boy and girl. And it is a total mess. And if you love Jesus, you have to give yourself. And you give yourself to the gurus of the group that abuse you. And mother, father, brother, and sister, everyone mix, and it is just a sexual game. People are being used sexually and putting Bible behind. And she was born in age of 6. She started being abused throughout her life. At the 26 or 24 years, I don't remember, she said she can't take this anymore. And she wants to be out of it. Mother messed. Her brother is a psychological junk. Everyone in her family, as she said, they are all lost. And she has the desire to do something, even though she's been through it. She still have her mind into herself, but she could see that she was powerless. And at this event, a friend helped her. Oh, there's a guy called Tony. Try and go to his event. He may help. Like a joke, she got in and then got, a true help. And not only she being helped, but the love that she carries, Tony shows her that she could spread this love to other people, not only overcome her trauma, but also heal thousands and thousands of people as she wishes to do. Okay. And this man was suicidal, seeing that the world was on top of him, and his solution was to die, to be able to remove himself. And through this kind of, the same ritual, the same, honest, but through compassion, he was able to break. You can see his gaze. This gaze, by looking at people, he has this charisma that when I shook his hand, he's the most famous person I've ever met in my life. I saw that he wasn't just an ordinary person. He has that power, even though I think of being very courageous and I could withstand anyone. I felt some kind of power in him. And when I saw this gaze, I remember it was the same 2016 that I was in Las Vegas when I went to his event. I remember the face, and he spoke with me. He asked me the reason why I was there. We spoke less than 2 minutes, but it was so strong. And the kind of help, the psychological help he gave me, in a few seconds, were summarized in this sentence here. Ask this question: what are you here for? And then by the time I answered that I was trying to find myself, what is your purpose of being? That was what he asked me. And then, what are you on earth to give? And what are you on this earth to do? And he remember, I clearly remember he said, when I find my purpose, there's nothing else that could stop. When you go, you run your life based upon the purpose and you pursue it, you will break through almost any obstacle. So to wrap up, this was not about Tony Robbins. It is not. He clearly uses this documentary to show that he's not anyone's guru, but it is about human pursuit for meaning, for growth, and for healing. And if we remember the documentary very well, it shows how people, could transform their life to have a purpose-driven life. And this certain barrier, certain trauma in life could easily be overcome when we find ourselves in the right circumstance, right group. Okay. Then asking, we need to ask ourselves, as I've already said, that what are we really here to do or to become? Okay. And then Robbins, as we could see, he used some honesty combined with sincere compassion to help people break through their barrier and reach their potential. So this documentary, to summarize, it shows that transformation is possible when we commit and never, ever give up. We have to be committed. We have to find the purpose and get committed. Without giving up, we are sure to reach the highest of our potential or reach any goal that we might have set for ourselves. Thank you, guys. That is what I have to share with you. Questions and comments are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. Oh, that was wonderful. And that, I think it makes it even more personal because you have attended one of his seminars. So I think this really brings it home for you and for us as well. Um, Now, I'd say before we have each of us contribute, I would probably want to say if there's anybody who has a question while Charlie is still close to the stage. Um, can you, do you have any questions for Charlie on what he presented? Anybody?
I have, yeah, Thomas. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Charlie, for the presentation. Charlie, like when you went to his seminar,
Yeah.
just if you remember, how much he charged a day, just to have an idea.
A day, I don't know, but it was 10,000 and you bring someone. So it is 5,000 per person. It was 4.5 days. So the fifth day was almost just, fun dinner and, making friends. So it was literally 4 days for 5,000, I should say. So 1,250 per day.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I got.
Anyone else has a question? If there are no questions, then can we go into
But I could add something very quickly.
Oh,
We
yes.
lived outside the hotel because we have parents, friends. We stayed with Arun's cousin over there. It could have been more expensive. Besides, I met with people there on the event who are part of the platinum group, and they were paying $57,000 per year to be part of the group. and you have access to unlimited. You could go to any of its events. If you are part of the platinum group, they pay 57,000 per year to be part of that group. And at the same time, I met with a couple of guys who were able to reach their first 10 million sales per year with Amazon, and they were trying to learn the strategy that to carry them to $100 million sales, which means that if these are the things that you could get while you come across somebody who could carry you to reach certain level of performance, hoping for $100 million sales per year to 57,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 is meaningless.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Now I'll open up to the group. Anybody who wants to go first, it's now time for us to contribute to the presentation. I believe all of us have watched the documentary, and there's something that we would like to share with the group.
I would like to go. Colum, you
Go
want?
ahead.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Charlie, for not only presenting the today. I'm still in vacation mode, though. But let me go ahead. So thank you to presenting this documentary summary to us. It made a little more sense to me now that you presented than when I was watching and listening. Especially, I didn't like the word he was using. Right, every minute he say "fuck you" or "fuck something," and it threw me off a little bit. So it make it difficult to me to follow, because at some point I felt like it was people who have like emotional distress, and he was trying to heal and put them back. So even if the title say I'm not your guru, but it felt like it was something like shamanism, or those Christian thing that they do, and they lock you together and you pray and you pray and you keep praying, and then but a few days later when you get home you're by yourself again and you with your the same issue. That's the way of when I was listening. But through your presentation, I learned he was also talking about purpose with I think the book Ikigai, right? You
Mhm.
have to know your why, and why you're here, right? The purpose, where you're going, what you want to give and stuff like that. So thank you for making it a little bit easier for me to understand what he was saying. To finish, just because of this book club, the thing that we are reading since a little while, Tony Robbins is on my feeder. He has seminar and they will show me you have to subscribe. They want you to come, and so your life will change and stuff like that. But I didn't subscribe to anything. That's why I was asking you how much they charge. That's where the question is from. So I'll stop there. Again, thank you, Charlie. Thank you very much for the presentation. And I
No
yield.
problem.
All right. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you,
All right, I
Professor.
can speak, as usual. I don't have
Thank
much
you.
to say. I listened to the documentary, or I watched it. I would say, yeah, that like uh, uh, like Thomas said, at first it feels like a religious event. You know how people pastors will come and they will go to stadium to do some prayer and talking and do some miracle. That's how it felt at first. Then I feel like, oh, at the end when they're saying, oh, now I can talk to my father. I'm closer to my father now. Or whoever the suicidal guy got kind of understand why he's leaving and why not to commit suicide or all of that. So I felt like, okay, this is a group therapy, right? So he's a psychologist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's really good. He kind of teach people to how to break through what is bothering them, right? What is making them going forward? What is making them not be happy, right? So he kind of help people move through uh, difficulties of life because it will always come, right? We just need to learn how to go through it. So that is very good, and I like that from the documentary. The only thing I didn't like is his rawness and the bad words. Sometimes when he said, "Take the fucking phone," no, no, it's it's I get sidetracked. I don't follow anymore the trend of his thoughts. So that's the only thing I didn't like about the documentary. But I love it. I love him helping people resolve their issues. So again, thank you, Charlie, for the presentation, and you made it more understandable for us.
Thank you too.
Thanks. Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
that.
Uh, I want to go.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Uh,
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, how
Yeah.
to
Huh? So, first of
um,
all,
okay, I'm the facilitator here, so let me take over. Okay, we're gonna have the next person. I think Arun and Christelle both want to go. I would maybe say let's have Christelle. Like they say, ladies first,
okay.
and with respect, Arun would come after her.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for your point of view, and thank you, Amore, for the wonderful presentation. Um, I went over the documentary twice. I was just mesmerized how Tony was able to get people to really tackle what is bothering, because sometimes us as a people we want to also hide that somehow, just like the first lady that talked about that. But there were really significant things that were going on with her in her life, with her dad relationship, and him able to bypass what is not important and get to that was really amazing. um, Tony, I think one of the what do you call it? One of the
Participants.
people, no, one of the person like his guide or his mentor. It
Staff.
was mentor. And one of his mentor was um what's his name? Maybe the guy that you listen to most of the time.
Jimmy
Oh
Ron.
yeah, he's
Jim
key.
Rom.
Jim Ron.
Exactly.
Jim
His
Ron is
mentor
key
was
mentor. Yeah.
exactly. So, having read some of Jim Ron's book and seeing what Tony does, there's a great alignment with it. They are all mindset alike, trying to really help people where they need is. Um, so it was a wonderful education, something that we don't have to be anyone's guru to bring out the best in each other. And sometimes the people who know what you really need, or what to get to the essence, the essentialism of what you really need, are those who are just with you, that lives with you on a daily basis. So we can take that example and really help each other tackle what is most important, and be able to use our time better, and hopefully in that journey we can find a satisfaction in in breaking through with our trouble. Just like Tata Colom just said, there will always be problem, but it's not about the end of the journey. It's about the journey itself. So breaking through problems is life. And doing it in a way that brings the best out of each other is something that I'm taking out of this documentary. And also, he said, one of the biggest problem of human being is thinking that there was no problem, because we think so. It makes us wanna, you know, have a quick solution to everything. But actually, living life is being able to go through problems and be able to come out of it in a stronger way. So listening to him is it's been a wonderful thing, and knowing where he got his motivation from is great, because we've read some of his mentor's book too. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for your input. Let's go out there, motivate each other. We don't have to be anyone's guru. And at the beginning, Tony said, "I'm not here to please you, because you are already right. I just need to activate that ingredient for you to see the power in yourself." So let's go out there, be each other's um, not only companion, but someone who can bring the best out of you. And that's all I have to say. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Christine.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We had to thank Fred Charlemagne for his presentation, es- especially that he met the author or the Tony. It was more relatable than we who observe it far away. But what I learned inside, I don't know if any of other people think about that, is the power of being baby from or being a child from 0 to 7. As Aristotle used to say, he said, "Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man." So, because in that period of time, there are a lot of things that are not true, but we take them as true, and our subconscious just take it like that. So if you don't see any other person who will come to your life to tell you that this thing that you're thinking, this thing that you're believing, if they don't come and jerk you out of it, is like that for you until you die. Even you are in front of other people who might be reasoning you, you always defend that your thinking is the best, your thinking is the right.
Yeah.
That's the power of we reading books, knowing that, okay, we are thinking about that everything has to be black, but other people might be thinking that everything has to be gray. So in that conversation in our mind is very, 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 very important for us. As you could see, Tony as well had a problem at the beginning of his life.
Yeah.
From 0 to 7, he had it. But he decided that there should be a better way. So that's why he come out of it. But those who don't have that, you might be in front of a person who is 80 years old, and you might be telling him, "Oh, can you fast?" I just take that example, and he will be very scared, as if his mom, the way his mom used to do to him, saying that you cannot eat for 2 days, you cannot eat for 1 day. By hearing that word fasting, you might be thinking that, oh, he's too he cannot hold his hungriness for 1 or 2 days. No, it's not that. He just jumped out to be a baby or be a child. He might be start shaking. So those things we have, when we are approaching a people, we have to be aware of those things, trying to be more diplomatic, how to read other people, to see what I say to him, what does he bring out. So in that way, you know where you are going, and it's very, very, very powerful. Let's say take that lady who was abused. When she will be married, officially married, maybe she might not like that the men touch her. The
Mhm.
men, if the men didn't dig into that to understand, he might say, "Oh, why we cannot consume our wedding, our marriage? I marry you." No, because there's other things underneath. So that's why we had to learn, trying to study our interlocutor to see what is going on in real life. And one thing might happen, but is different interpretation. As we could see, Susan, Oman Susan, or
Yeah,
she's a
Susan
financial,
Ober. Yeah.
she was saying that she want to go for 1 day trip, and her dad didn't give her money. In her lower mind interpretation, she just said that, oh, my parents, they are poor, they cannot give me money. So from that moment, she starts stealing to show to her friend that they are very, very rich at home, even though that is not the truth, is the opposite. So she starts stealing from that simple incident. So that's why we have to be very, very careful. And I might be suggesting that we put some of his books as well, because one of his first book that I read was Awaken the Giant Within You.
Yeah.
And another one that I read recently was on money, which is Money Master the Game by
Yeah.
Tony Robinson. On that, thank you for the person who suggests that documentary. It wasn't easy at the first time, but we finally get it for those who don't have a Netflix to be able to observe. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, thank you so much, Arun. I still have a couple of other people who may want to say something.
Can I go?
Yes, you go ahead.
Yeah. So I wasn't able to get through a lot of the documentary, but Charlie, your presentation was great and it gave a lot of insights about like the work. And I do want to mention a couple. I like being the minor contrarian of the group, just so like I can uh, mention some ideas that we don't keep in mind. So there's a lot of focus on like individual action with this speaker, and I agree that like 99% of our problems are the result of individual action, right? However, um, we shouldn't neglect our environment, right? And if we neglect our environment and neglect how our environment influences us, that then prevents the individual action that we want to take, right? So I'll say just keep that in mind. Also, keep your expectations tempered, right? Like a lot of the people who are in these presentations, a lot of like the dramatic cases where like, okay, you do this one thing and then it solves all of these problems, right? But a lot of the solutions to the problems that we want to solve are things that are solved over the course of years, right? We're not going to be the person making one phone call, breaking up with someone, and then that makes a new step in our life, right? No, it's about like the little changes that we'd have to make over a long period of time, which I would argue is just as hard, if not more difficult, right? So, but that's all I wanted to contribute. Again, Charlie, thank you for the presentation. It was great, and I hope everyone
No
has a good
problem.
night.
Thank you
Thank you.
too.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Or should I go? We still have 15 minutes to go. Let me go. People can come after. I watched this documentary with Connie some time back, and For some of you who don't know Connie very well, she's a very she's very sensitive, and the language didn't go very well with her. Now, I just want to say this because I've not attended any of of Tony Robbins seminars, but I have bought one of his programs that was back in the early 80s called Personal Power 2. It was a CD set with a workbook that goes with it. And I want to say it brought a lot of change to me. Some of the major breakthroughs that happened in my life, they happened through that program. But having said that, there was no bad language in it. So the Tony Robbins that you see in this documentary with the rough language is not Tony Robbins. It's a strategy. It's one of his strategies that he uses. In NLP, I think he calls it NAC. That's his model. It's called pattern interrupt, and you use that because these people, they come with like deep-seated issues, and they are already always speaking to themselves. There's that inner voice that's taken over their lives, and he uses that to interrupt that inner voice that's taken over that person's life. And it just like jolts them. It's like an electric shock in the system that just silences that voice so that change can start to take place. I've had experience in Africa where I visited some of these spiritual churches where people manifest demons and evil spirits. And when they do that, you see people strike them down. They strike the person down who is manifesting. And it's a similar thing. You are dealing with something that's inside that person, but you have to use force. You have to use some kind of shock to interact with that inner force that is driving that person. And I think, unfortunately, for many people who are not familiar with that tactic, they would think Tony Robbins is a person who has got bad language or insults, but it's not really the case. That's not Tony Robbins. That was just one of the strategies that he used. The other to talk about is, I think, unfortunately, the way the documentary has presented whatever was happening there gave some kind of wrong impression, because it seems like only a few people a handful of people were allowed to interact personally with him, and those are the people that God assisted. But in reality, it's I think Charlie would attest to this. These people, they already work in smaller groups. So there's a lot of resolution that happens in those smaller groups.
Exactly.
And the people that you see there are the difficult cases that are brought by the facilitators from the small groups so that Tony can demonstrate how to deal with some of those issues. But it's everybody goes there, and they have all these workbooks. If you were looking at the documentary, they have like this thick workbook that they have to go through in the 4 or 5 days. And
Yes.
they are working through their issues, and they're going to go home and continue to work through their issues. But I think the documentary, the way it was presented, it didn't do justice in that aspect. And some of those aspects, they didn't look right, and unless somebody explains it. So that's just what I wanted. That was my observation, and that's my contribution today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, George.
Yeah.
All right, we still have 10 minutes. Is there anybody, or should we go into general discussion?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So I just want to say thank you.
I see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear Steve. You good? How are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Cousin, for the presentation. Thank you for all the ideas and all the contributions, right? So I've gone through the documentary and very interesting. I don't have anything else to add. I just want to say thank you for all your contributions. Very good, very good. I don't know if I have to say book, but it's very good. Powerful informations. Let's just try to however we can support other people. Especially emotionally. Especially in this country, with a lot of stress. We don't know what people are going through, and sometimes you see someone, people are out there even, without with all the money, all the material and all that, but people are going through a lot of emotion, a lot of painful situations daily. So we have to find a way to support people. I mean, however we can do it, right? At the same time, by supporting them, we also have to make sure that we are working on our own self to make our mind, our body, physically, emotionally, to become stronger, right? Because the only way you can support other people is is if you're strong on your own first. So let's find some techniques to work on our own self. Like I said, physically, emotionally, to become stronger, and then also find somehow, however, you can support other people, whatever situation they are going through. It's very important. So yeah, that's what I can say. But honestly, very good documentary, very good book, and thank you everyone for the contribution. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm still gonna ask if there's anybody else. If not, maybe now that everybody has spoken, there could be a reflection that you just want to bring forth, or maybe add on to what someone else has said. So, because we still have 8 minutes to go tonight before we end the session.
Yes, if I may, there are a few stuff that I would like to share with you about Tony Robbins and some of key things that he has done. I remember I watched Oprah, his present when he was on Oprah. Oprah invited him. Why? Because he invited Oprah through a friend to come to his event. And Oprah said, no, that is not hers. Okay, just to, for courtesy, I will be there for a couple of hours. What day is the best for you? And he said, just come the first day for the first 2 hours if you could give me that gift. And Oprah said she stayed for the 6 days and forgot about herself. And in return, she invited him on her show to testify the kind of work that Tony does and how useful it is. And the same, he happened to help Mother Teresa at her lowest point when she said, if you have anything to do and you have nobody to help you, just do it yourself. And he heard it and went to assist. So if Mother Teresa was able to do a lot of things, he has a hand into it. And then other two key figures that I just want to mention briefly. Bill Clinton, at his lowest point, he was his advisor and he advised him against all odds, against all the politicians who ever said that once he has already denied his, the allegations with Wilinski, he should never admit it. He advised him to admit and to apologize to the Americans, and guide him through, advise him through his second campaign for him to win, despite of all the issues that he has gone through for that weakness that he has had during his first term. And then his key moment is his work with Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, everyone today could say that, oh, he went through 27 years of imprisonment and then became president. When Nelson Mandela was out of prison, he was a psychological junk. Lost all his parents. He couldn't attend their funeral, children, and including his wife. And on top of that, the trauma he has gone through all throughout, he couldn't have held any nation. And Tony has been the key figure among his psychological support to bring him from the brink. Mandela was called a psychological junk when he was out of prison. And the apartheid leadership were not expecting him, even though everything who have brought him to power, they were not expecting him to hold. And he carried it on and helped him through. And he designed his presidency with him with one mandate. So, and then lastly, he was giving an interview. What could he do to help Donald Trump? And he jokingly said, probably a brain surgery. So that is what I want to share with you. Some of the few things that Tony, and he's helped so many people, so many. He helped, even George Bush II, George Bush Walker, and many other leaders through there. He's a very powerful psychologist, but he said he's not a psychologist, but he's life and business strategist. And unbelievable. As Josh said, using those languages that we were saying, it's part of his strategy for certain circumstances. That is what he believes it deserves.
All right. Thank you, Charlie, for those insights, which are really so valuable. I think I can also maybe say something. Just it's an extension of what I was saying before about Tony Robbins. If you have to understand his background too, because he keeps coming back to his own upbringing in the documentary. Mm-hmm. He had a very difficult upbringing, like a very sad story, but he was able to come out of it through some of the similar interventions. And now he is almost like giving back what he has also got from other people. And you see that come out very clearly with the suicidal lady, because there he didn't use any of the foul language. Mm-hmm. Instead, he just looked at her. You could see tears coming out of his eyes. And all he had was compassion and love. And you could feel the whole room was full of love at that moment, nothing else but love. And it almost seems to me that was a pivotal point in that entire weekend, because it looks like after that you still now see all the following that the whole environment had changed. The vibe was different inside the hall. Right up to the very last moment, you can feel that it was a change that came from that point when he interacted with that lady. I think something touched deeper into him as well. Because when we have sad memories, difficult memories, we try not to bring them up to the surface for our own sanity. But I think that moment, it touched on those things that he didn't want to bring up in his own life. And that changed a whole lot of things.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. The time is it's now 10 o'clock. If there's no one else, I would want to thank you, Charlie, for the wonderful work, and thank everybody for the valuable contributions and ideas from all of you. Next week, I will be presenting. It's a book by Jacko Willink, and it's called Leadership Strategy and Tactics. I will have Christelle as the facilitator for next week. With that, I would like to bring this session to a close and say once again to all of you, thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, George.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Have a
Yeah,
good
good
night.
night to everyone.
Bye.